Welcome back to Edgemont Elegance, everybody. It is week 57, and holy smokes, do we have a lot of progress going on inside and outside of this project. I cannot wait to share it with you. So let's stop talking about it from out here and jump inside and check it out. Let's go. In the front yard here, you can see that we've got a bunch of white pipes sticking out of the ground. This is all areas where there's going to be landscape lighting, and all of this was all provisioned and put underneath the ground, underneath the paving stones before they happen. So landscape lighting is happening all over the place. The other thing that's happened since we were here last is we finally have gutters on. Thank God. So now the water is actually gonna go where it is supposed to go. So one thing I think a lot of people aren't familiar with what temporary downspout is. This is all it is. And I mean, a lot of the times this is exactly what you do is you fill the bottom of it with some sand or rocks or whatever and then poke a hole. It's just a big tube, plastic tube, and the water will run through that and come out the bottom there, and life is good. So now, instead of the water splashing all over the house and making a huge freaking mess everywhere, nice, clean, tucked away, put away. And how magnificent are these gutters too? Very, very nice. Very, very nice profile. I love these gutters. We've used these actually, and if you're doing a deck that is it like a vinyl deck and you need a gutter on the end of it, this style of gutter works really, really well for that kind of deck, just as an FYI. We are in the detached garage now, and I have not had this happen on a project in a very long time. But what happened on this project is we had the architect spec a swing door near the garage door. And of course, well, I mean, if you know, you know, but garage doors have a track that has to swoop up for the garage door to go into, right? Unless you're doing like a roll up, but I mean, who's doing that on a residential home? If we did not do some fancy footwork here, we would not be able to open this door all the way. So what they had to do was create a quicker sweep to get the door up and out of the way. And what they've done is they've added a secondary track for the top of the door there. And so that's going to allow the door to open and be higher to the ceiling and also allow this swing door to open. So this is the first time I've actually seen this done. And I think what a great solution. I've had this problem before, but it's been well over a decade since it's been an issue. Longer than I can remember. I don't remember where it happened. But nonetheless, that's how you solve it. If you want to get your garage door to go up and stay out of the way, add a secondary track, and now you can see what you can do to allow yourself to have a swing door near the garage door. Well, we were just talking about the inside of this door, so let's talk about the outside of it. This is a beautiful full wood door. I mean, this is absolutely stunning how nice this looks. Like, dude, so pretty. Very happy with how this has turned out and how this is turning out. Absolutely stunning. Now, the other thing that has been happening since we were here last is they've been working on the paving stones and getting this driveway dialed in. You'll remember, Kyle, that we were showing the drainage that was going against the retaining wall. So here, this retaining wall is now faced and it has its stone, so that's looking beautiful. And this is that strip drain that's going to be going along the side of the driveway. So this is where the water will make itself into. And it doesn't look super obvious. So we've got more of a section over here done. I mean, missing a couple pieces here and there, but yeah, water will drop into there, and then there's a pipe that's connecting it all together, and off it goes. All right, we are in the mudroom, and it is looking amazing in here. Look at this beautiful backsplash for the laundry mudroom area here. Like, is that not just stunning? Beautiful, beautiful detailing. Notice how on the sides here, our grout lines are all lining up. Like, that's the way that it's supposed to be, right? Absolutely stunning detail. Loving this. This bar here is going to be for hanging clothes. That's what that's about. We've got some puck lights underneath here, so that'll be really nice. We've got a couple of seats here and some drawers for shoes and that sort of thing. Laundry machines here. And then it's the ironing board that we put in one of our previous videos. That's the door for it. It's pretty cool. Let's keep moving. Don't worry, I'm not using the level. It was just in the way, so I had to move it to get into the room. We have around the room kind of chair rail tile back detailing in this powder room. Dude, how stunningly beautiful does this look. I really like having this sort of chair rail detail in the powder room. I think it just adds a whole ton of character. Absolutely stunning detail. I don't know what the finishes are going to be for the faucets and everything in here, but I mean, oftentimes, you know, especially in this day and age, people go with like the gold sort of looking faucets, and that really plays off very nicely with black. So we'll see what the finish is on the faucets once it's done, but dude, it's looking so good. I love this room. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we're up here and our painters, Rockstar Painting, are on site getting all of the trim work ready for painting. And you can see their obsessive attention to detail here in terms of all of these little pieces of tape that are showing like things that need to get a little bit more love. So if you run your finger across here, it's just not quite perfectly smooth. But nonetheless, these guys get these things all flattened out, and then this is gonna receive a spray finish. And the next time we shoot this house, these are all gonna be painted and looking phenomenal. Now, to the right of Kyle here is one of the en-suites. And so we've got countertop in, we've got our holes drilled out for the faucet, and then hot and cold, obviously. That's looking really good. Very, very nice shower area in here. And I'm loving the details that we decided to go with up here for the crown molding and having the crown come in front of the tile. Like I really think that that looks fantastic. I'm really happy with that. It looks really, really, really good. So we spray everything. Doors, moldings, wherever possible, we spray. It just looks so much better. And so this is how they get the door set up for getting them ready for spraying. And that way you can take your spray gun and go up and down. They'll kind of poly off the ceiling so that the ceilings don't get covered in overspray. But this is, they just use some metal angle pieces up here, a couple screws at the top of the door, and then we put a couple horseshoe shims underneath the door so that the door is not sitting on the floor. Because what happens is if your door is actually just sitting on the floor, when you go to paint it, it kind of leaves like a bit of a peel at the bottom of the door, which then you need to clean up, and it can anyways, it just can create all sorts of problems. So just shim it up. I mean, I think here like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, and that way there's some space between the round board and your door, and you don't have any issues when you go to move them once they're finished painting. But yeah, I mean, these are gonna look, of course, fantastic once they're done. Okay, so we are in what I think would be the primary bedroom on the upper floor. Well, no, they're all kind of bedrooms. The primary bedroom in this house is on the main floor. But this is another amazing room, complete with walk-in closet, ensuite, absolutely beautiful, south facing. We don't have the counters in here yet, but we are getting close to having those suckers installed. And we have the sconces going up there, and we had a whole bunch of comments about, oh, plywood this, da-da-da-da-da. Listen, this is what happens when you don't do the Sprucehill way. And unfortunately, I missed this at Ruffin, so my bad. But again, this is why we don't pull the wire through at Ruffin, because you just never locate the sconce where it needs to go. Now, I need to add a correction to my tutorial on how to do that. Plywood behind the drywall, then drywall. 4-inch hole saw for the drywall only, and then a 2-inch hole through the plywood. That gives you something to land your pancake box on and mount everything and have a nice clean install, right? So in this case, it doesn't really matter that much because we're going counter to ceiling mirror. So it's all gonna get hidden and it's never gonna get seen anyways. But if you have a bathroom where you're gonna have the drywall showing, you really, really, really don't want to pull the wire through until you have your cabinets and counters in and you know exactly where you want to locate your sconce. I don't care how smart you think you are 99% of the time going to put it in the wrong place and have to move it, unless you're okay with leaving something that's a 1/2 inch off center or, you know, something that isn't quite perfect. That's not the Sprucehill way, but maybe that's your way. Okay, so this is one of four beds, the third of fourth bedrooms upstairs. Anyway, whatever. So one thing I noticed on my walkthrough today is that this piece of baseboard here is just kind of kicked over to the left a little bit. So we'll have our guys just pull it out. It's following the drywall perfectly, but I mean, these things happen. And really what is the most important is making sure your baseboard looks nice and straight. If the top of the baseboard is slightly bigger here and there, that really isn't something that the eye picks up. But what the eye always picks up is whether or not your baseboard's running straight or if it's skew and crooked. So we'll just pop that out. It's not much, like it's the smallest amount, but we don't get too fussed about it, you know, behind doors and that sort of thing, because there's just not a ton of value in doing that. But here, this is clear line of sight when you're coming into the bedroom. And it's just, we want to have it look great for the rest of the time. So we'll make that adjustment. In here, we are in this is a cheater ensuite. So there's a door from bedroom 3 and a door from bedroom 4. So this is a shared bathroom. I know life is rough. We've got our holes drilled for this faucet as well. We are going to be putting a return piece on the back here. This client wants that. Some clients don't, some clients do. I like it. I like having a surround on all sides of the sink. I don't know, you get water coming over and I don't know. I just think from like a cleaning and whatever perspective, I like to have some sort of backsplash on all sides of the countertop. That's my opinion. What's yours? Here's yet another sconce that had to get moved. And again, if we were not putting a full length mirror here, this wire had not been pulled through and had been done in the way that I talked about doing it in my previous video, you would see that you wouldn't have to make all this mess. I'm not a dumb man, it turns out. I know like you guys flame me in the comments. I can take it, it's all good, but I'm not wrong. Okay, so we are in the family room, great room, whatever you want to call it. And while it looks fairly simple what's on the ceiling here, it turns out this was anything but simple to create. So there's 2 reasons for that. Reason number 1 is we're gonna actually have strip lighting on the ends of this ceiling shining down on the wall, so some indirect lighting, very, very cool effect. We really had to spend a ton of time shimming the ceiling and furring it down. The team had to basically run a string line from that side of the room to this side of the room and create furring strips that were all custom. It's not like they could just do one furring strip per whatever, because the trusses that we got from the truss manufacturer were not exactly perfect. Which seems to be the case on almost everything these days. So we want to leave something behind that looks fantastic, and this is the only way that we could get it done. So that's all dialed in, ready to go. We just need to get the last piece in here. There's a few more pieces that need to come. I think Dan's bringing some from the supplier today. Came up a little short. Maybe some more wastage than the guys thought, whatever the case may be. Nonetheless, this is going to look magnificent once this is all painted and finished. Like very, very, very cool detail and a lot of work for sure. So we are now in the family room kitchen. Everything is protected a la Sprucehill. You know, we don't want countertops getting damaged. We don't want cabinets getting damaged, and there's lots of activity going on here. Same thing over here. We've got the fireplace all protected. It's looking very pretty. Some modifications are gonna need to get made to make me happy about it, but that's okay. We'll get those fixed on our dime, not the client's. But it's looking really great, Kyle. I mean, if you reach over and have a look, you can see they've got really cool marble mosaic tile going around the fireplace with more millwork going around that. So it's looking really, really good. I'm not happy with what happened over here, so we're just gonna redo this and pretend like that never happened. We are in the kitchen here. It is looking lovely. We've got our backsplash tile in. These have been in for a while now, but you know, things are starting to get finished up. We're just waiting for the cabinetry guys to come back, and I think we're a week or 2 still from them returning to start finishing things off. So not too bad. I mean, I think we're in pretty good shape here. One thing that did happen in the last little bit is we have now had a request to put in a built-in coffee maker. So this is going to get changed, and ultimately you're going to see a coffee maker here. Now, this is a great little piece for all of you electricians that love to give me shit on the comments there. Fortuitously, and thinking ahead, our electrician ran an extra circuit to the sink, and now that extra circuit is going to get used. So if you're a Sparky and you are thinking about how can I serve my clients and do the best job I can for my clients, you know, where it makes sense, run a spare circuit, right? If you're renovating or building a home and you have the opportunity to pull a spare circuit to your kitchen island, do it. Pull a spare circuit to underneath your kitchen sink, do it. And if your electrical panel is on your main floor or in your basement, run 2 or 3 spare circuits up into your attic. You just never know what you may or may not need in the future, and the incremental amount of time and cost to run the wire, I mean, it's almost nothing. So get some circuits to where you can then put like if you have those circuits going into your attic, for example, you can put a junction box on those circuits and then run it elsewhere on the upper floor, right? So, you know, I mean, can you like future-proof everything? No. Should you? Also no, because it just takes so much time. And if you future-proof everything, you're gonna spend $1 million trying to get to the finish line. But there's some things where it just makes sense. And certainly, you know, adding an extra circuit or leaving an extra circuit for the island and for at the sink, it just makes sense. It's very low cost, very high reward. So we've talked about it in previous videos. I'm gonna talk about it again, and I'm gonna keep talking about it because I just love these details. I'm a craftsman guy. Like, I love these craftsman details. Like, can we build modern? Yes. Have we built modern? Yes. Do we do an amazing job on modern? Absolutely, yes. But like personally, from a personal aesthetic perspective, I love these little details like this. This is going to look so freaking good once this gets painted. It is just unbelievable. I love these details. You know, you come over here, Kyle, and look at how those same moldings, right, follow this, a landing, follow the stairs down here, complete with this like cool little triangular piece here, just giving that same aesthetic. And then on either side of the dining room here, we've got details on the outside. And again, we've talked about it before, but I'm so excited to see this stuff get painted and see this get finished. Like, it is just going to look so good. Very, very exciting. If you want Decton, you need to be really thinking about how long you want your project to take. This is the second project in as many months where we are waiting for Decton materials to arrive to the manufacturer to get formatted and done so that they can be installed. Like, this has been ready to go for, God, it's got to been at least a month, and still no walls, and it's all Decton. I don't know if it's the Decton supplier or if it's Colonial Countertops, but I can tell you, like, if you are considering Decton for your project, just know that it's a pain in the ass. It's a massive pain in the ass, and sorry, folks at Decton, not impressed. If you want to hit me up in the DMs and talk about what can be done better in the future for us and our clients, I'd love to have that dialogue. But at this moment in time, Eric's recommendation is to avoid Decton, at least here in BC. We've got the tile floor rocking and rolling in the mechanical area here. So this is looking very, very clean and tidy and amazing. We've got our paneling in the mechanical room, looks awesome. Like, this is looking really, really, really good. I mean, obviously it's a mess because we're in the middle of getting the finishing done. By the end of the year, it's going to be looking really good. So again, we are downstairs in the basement area here. We have got all the moldings in. The painters are doing their thing to get everything ready for paint. So they will continue to refine and perfect these moldings over the next few days. And then basically we kick everybody off the job site, thorough vacuum happens, and then they start spraying all of the crown moldings, all of the door casings, all of the doors. And that is going to yield just a magnificent result. It is going to look so beautiful. I cannot wait to share what these moldings look like when they're done. That's a wrap on today's walkthrough, everybody. Listen, if you have a custom home you have been dreaming about building, we would love to be your partners in success. Reach us on the phone, find us on the web, connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. We sure would appreciate the love. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye now.